and welcome back to the Little Reader's Corner. So I haven't done a wrap-up since what looks like November. It's now August, and this is my July wrap-up. So, are we a little out of practice? Probably. I believe date read is actually the order we're going with today. So I read 5 graphic novels, 2 arcs, there were 3 rereads, and then 6 regular novels. So let's get into it. July was actually a pretty good reading month. I didn't think it was, but it actually was. There's just no winning in this life. I got access to the Arc of the Escape Manual for Introverts by Katie Vaz, and it is one of the cutest little things. I don't remember quite when this comes out, but it is the perfect thing to have on a coffee table, and it is so adorable. If you're an introvert, you would most definitely appreciate this book. It is, as you may assume, an escape manual for introverts. So it's divided up into categories of friends, relatives, coworkers, acquaintances, and strangers. Then it goes into different scenarios that you might find yourself in where you might want to escape. One of the scenarios is a rambunctious dinner party with too many people. One of the suggestions is to be too preoccupied playing with the pets rather than speaking to the humans. And it's just cute little things like that, and it's just the perfect thing. And honestly, I got quite a few good tips for ways that I can escape large extroverted situations in the future, so I appreciated this. And I rated it 5 stars because I loved it so much. Next, I read Nimona, which is a graphic novel, and it takes basically the plot of like superhero versus villain and then like someone's accomplice and then flips it on his head. So Nimona is a shapeshifter, and she ends up being the apprentice to the villain of the story. And the villain and the superhero actually have a lot of history because they were both trained to be heroes, but then the hero actually injured him, blew off his arm, and now he's been on a revenge plot ever since. But the interesting thing is the villain in the story, he has like his own code of conduct and his own way of doing things, and there are rules. Like, he never kills people, he only likes to make a little bit of chaos, he doesn't ever want to go like too wild. And then Nimona comes into the mix, and she is as chaotic as it gets, and she's ready to do whatever it takes to create more evil in the world. And it's just the cutest story, and it's so much fun. I love it. I rated Nimona 5 out of 5 stars. Next, I read Her Royal Highness by Rachel Hawkins. So this is a story about a girl from Houston who decides to study abroad in Scotland for her last year of high school. Little does she know that she's about to room with the Princess of Scotland in this new boarding school that's actually for the rich and only in Scotland, and is like home of all of the children of the dukes and duchesses and all that alike. And she is there on scholarship, and they completely get off on the wrong foot. They seem like completely different people, and it is an enemies to lovers, hate to love kind of book. It is rather short. It's only about like 300, it's not even 300. It's only about 250 pages, so it is rather short, which means that of course there isn't a lot of character development that can happen in 250 pages, which was my only qualm with the book, is it didn't feel, there wasn't as much development among the characters as I would have liked, and we didn't get to see as much from like different relationships building over time, because with that kind of page count there's just not a lot of time for that. And the writing style at the beginning of the book was a little different from what I would have preferred. Like, there wasn't a lot of descriptive imagery or a lot of description of different details that I would have preferred to see, because of course when you have only 250 pages you gotta keep things like pretty cut and to the chase. But that also means that this is a quick and easy read. It is fun, cute, adorable, and I loved the ending. I gave this 4 out of 5 stars. So next we have Fence Volumes 1 and 2. So I basically read these back to back. One day I went to my independent bookstore and decided I really wanted to finally pick up Fence. I've been wanting to read this for a very long time. Maybe the title or the cover gave it away, but this is a graphic novel about fencing. So if you know nothing about fencing, then just check this out, because there is some description about different fencing styles and the different weapons used in fencing. So there's épée, saber, and foil fencing, which is just such a good time. Look at those. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, I love it. So I finished volume 1, and then the next day I went to the bookstore to buy volume 2, because the only qualm that I really have with these is they're so short. And it's very interesting that they don't put page numbers on here, because then you can't complain about how it's only 50 pages, and you know I'm not going to put in the effort to count how many pages there are. I love all of the characters in these. I love the storyline, even though the storyline, I just wish that these were longer so there would be more development, more plot, more things going on, more that we can learn, because I'm pretty sure the third one's coming out in like a week or two, and that should be the last in the series, which just isn't enough story for me. I want more fencing in my life. If you don't know anything about fencing, and if you don't care about fencing, these might not be the right graphic novels for you, because I love these because I love fencing. I am very much into the technique and the story and the background of fencing, but I know some people who don't care about fencing who read this and got bored. So completely up to you. I rated the first one 4 out of 5 stars because there wasn't a lot of character development where I wanted it, so it wasn't a 5. Then I read the second one, and that was a 5 out of 5 stars because I just love them so much. I had the honor, the privilege of getting access to the e-arc of Mooncakes. Oh my gosh. I was so excited to read this. I am so excited to hold the finished copy in my hands because it is everything that you ever wanted in a story. So it is just a little bit of a queer love story. And we have a witch and a non-binary werewolf, and they have been best friends since I believe high school, and now they like kind of graduated and they're going on their own paths, and they meet up again to destroy a great evil. Oh my gosh, look at how cute they are. I love them so much. Oh! So first off, the representation in this is fantastic. They also are both Chinese Americans, so there's that little bit of representation as well. And the illustrations are so cute. It is a really light story, but has like really great themes of love, friendship, relationships, family, and loss. I think it's like about 250 pages. It's like pretty dense for a graphic novel, but in like the best way. I think we get a lot of character development in here and a lot of storyline, which is just makes it all. Oh my gosh, and how could I forget? The character who is the witch right here, she also wears a hearing aid, which also plays a part into the story and into her character, which is just great. When this comes out, please read it. I think it comes out next month or October, maybe in time for Halloween, because it is the perfect, cute Halloween read. I gave this 5 out of 5 stars. If I hadn't said that already, if it wasn't obvious, I gave this 5 out of 5 stars. It was a good reading month. This next book barely needs any information. I re-listened to the audiobook for Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone / the Philosopher's Stone. If you didn't know already, I listened to 30 minutes of the audiobooks on like a loop every single night when I fall asleep, so I like throughout the year just make my way through the audiobooks. I finished Sorcerer's Stone last month. That's it. I also finished Chamber of Secrets on the audiobook. There you go. They're great as always. I listen to them every single night, so like, I read Romanov by Nadine Brandes. If you want a really detailed discussion of what I thought about this book, I did an entire video with my thoughts of it, so you can go check that out. It is a fantasy retelling of Anastasia Romanov's story, who is the Grand Duchess. She was killed by Bolshevik soldiers along with the rest of her family in Russia. Yeah, so it's a retelling based on the true story, but with fantasy elements to it. Yeah, a lot of mixed thoughts about how that fantasy played in, and the characters in it. All you need to know is that Yvonne is a precious baby. I love Yvonne so much. And then everyone else is just kind of it's fine. I rated this 3 out of 5 stars. It fluctuated between 2 and 3 out of 5 stars very often. I still feel unsure, so I have a video review that is now out and a written review. Both of them, I believe, has a section before the spoilers get into it. So I first read this in June, and I didn't do a June wrap-up, so I'm really glad that I reread this when I bought it in the mail, because check please, it's one of my favorites of all time. I just recently wrote a written review about it as well because it is perfect. Look at Biddy. Look at his face. Do you see that face? Do you see that face? That is the face of innocence and happiness. Look at him. He's perfect. Just, okay, let me just... He enjoys all the love in the world. Okay, I can't cry in this video because of Biddy. Look at him, he's perfect. Okay, so I originally borrowed this as an ebook from my library. Thought, oh yeah, hockey. Oh yeah, it looks cute. Like, oh yeah, hockey kid. Yeah, ex-figure skating champion, becomes like a hockey player in college, bakes pies. Yeah, sounds like a good enough story. Why not? Let me just check it out. I've heard those pretty good. There's a lie right there. I mean, all of that was true because he bakes pies and he's perfect and he's a vlogger and he's the cutest thing in all of existence, but like, look at him. Also, look at all the other bros. That's shitty and he's perfect. Right there, right there. This is like 250 pages. This is what I wanted out of Fence. This is what Fence didn't give me. This is why this will be a 5 out of 5 stars and more. Always, because it's perfect in every possible gosh darn way. I'm probably gonna reread it like this afternoon because look how perfect they are. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh, look at him. He's talking about hockey. I never cared about hockey before this book. You can also read it online as a webcomic for free. Go read it. It's great. For the Reading Riordan book club with Heather, Daria, and Maddie, we just got to Percy Jackson, The Sea of Monsters. So I reread these. I read these like 10 years ago. They were great then. They're great now. They're fantastic. Oh my gosh. These books are just good. Very, very good. This time around, I did some highlights, which is very exciting. They match the orange of the book. So the only reason why I rated this one a 4 out of 5 stars is because the other ones in the series I love more than this one. So all of them are kind of technically 5 out of 5 stars. The series is great, but some of the books I enjoy more. So I had to debunk the other books that I didn't enjoy as much as the later ones to a 4 out of 5 stars. But you know, these are 5 out of 5 stars in my heart, but I just have to rave more about the other ones. Do I have to give a description? Percy goes into the Sea of Monsters with a bunch of his bros. They fight a Cyclops. He has a brother that's a Cyclops. We're nearing the end. I read City of Brass by Esther Chakraborty. It's very good. It's very good. Like, I know I've given out a lot of 5-star ratings because I'm nice. I enjoy books. I'm gonna give them 5 stars but some of them get like a 5+ out of 5 stars. You know, like an A+. Like, this is an A+ right here. This was great. I've been wanting to read this for a long time. One of my friends, Hannah, she's been talking about it for a very, very long time. A very long time. Now, other people on BookTube have read this and love it, so I had to go for it. I got the UK edition, so I had to wait like 3 weeks to get this from Book Depository. If you want to use my Book Depository link, it's in the description. The writing in here is absolutely gorgeous. Look at all the highlights that I made. Look at all those highlights. So much highlight. Shannon writes so beautifully. You can feel the City of Brass. You know where you are. The characters are great. It's always so hard to give words to the books that I really love. I haven't binge read a book this hard for a long time. I read like 300 pages in one day. For a lot of people, that's not a lot. For me, that's good. That is a lot. I read so much of this book. I did not want to leave this world. I can't wait to get the second one on Book Depository, Kingdom of Copper. I'm so excited. Oh, one more book. I listened to the audiobook of Opposite of Always by Jason Reynolds. So I heard good things. It sounded really interesting. It involves time travel. I'm obsessed with time travel. I'm very picky about time travel. This is a contemporary romance featuring time travel in a way that it's like a Groundhog Day. So there is a moment where our main character, Jack, meets Kate on the top of a staircase at a party. And then 4 months goes by, a bunch of things happen, and then Kate dies. This is in the summary. This is not a spoiler. Kate dies, then he gets thrown back to that same day at the top of the staircase, and he has to relive those 4 months again, making different decisions. He has to do this multiple times until he kind of, figures out what he wants to do. It does not work with any theories of time travel because it's not like he's like time traveling. It's just like the clock resets, Groundhog Day begins again. So I enjoyed it a lot because I didn't have to worry about theories of time travel. Oh my gosh. It was such a beautiful story. And because he was reliving the same 4 months and like same major events were happening during those 4 months, but like with everything he made a different decision, you got to see like a lot of different outcomes and different ways that he interacted with people, and that in that way you still got to see much more of each character, because with each decision like something happens a little differently, and then like you see like similar things are being said but in different ways in different situations, and then he's reacting to them differently. It was just done very well. So I rated this 4 out of 5 stars. It like really cemented itself as a 4-star book when I got to the end. That was just like a kick of amazingness. The last chapter just like really ties everything together very beautifully. Like some books, they just kind of like are like, okay, that's the end, boom, boom, story done, and you're like, okay, nice, sweet. But this one, it like really just summarized everything perfectly in one final chapter. 4 out of 5 stars. It was great. Oh. So those are all of the books that I managed to read in July. Don't ask me how I managed to read so many books because I couldn't tell you. I don't know how. It just happened. If you read any of these books or are planning to read any of these books, please let me know, especially the ones that I'm very excited about, or maybe the ones I'm a little disappointed by. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please feel free to hit the like or subscribe button if you enjoyed this video. And with that, have a great day. Bye!